Hi everyone, it's Plumb here to share another scrapbook process video with you. Today's layout that I am sharing was created for the Cocoa Vanilla Studio design team, and I am actually working with punches and dies this week. So our design team were actually challenged to dust off some of the punches and dies that we have in our stash this week and use them to create a project. Now, it's been a little while since I played with my dies, so I was quite happy to sort of dig through them and choose some for this project. The photos that I'm scrapping were some photos of my daughter and a couple of her friends that were taken at a school event. They just had some fancy paper hats on that they'd made, and they had bright, fun colours. The girls were all happy, so I thought that would work really well with the Sunkissed collection. Now, I did begin with a cardstock background, and I've got a little bit of info to give you about the cardstock today. So, this cardstock that I'm working with is the one that I usually work with. It is a 300 GSM cardstock, and it's actually by House of Paper. Now, I really love this cardstock. It is my favourite cardstock to work with. It's a really good weight. It takes mediums well. It's really super smooth. It's really silky to the touch. It's a nice, clean, bright white. It's not textured. It's just, I love it. It is my absolute favourite cardstock to work with. And I have some really good news. This cardstock is now available in the Cocoa Vanilla Studio store. So if you want to get your hands on some, you can pop over to the Cocoa Vanilla Studio shop. I'll pop the link below, and you can pick some up for yourself. Now, Zoe actually has the 300 GSM cardstock in stock, and she also has a 250 GSM version available as well. So if you're not somebody that likes to do a lot of mixed media, or you don't want to get it wet, or you don't want a heavier weight cardstock, you just want something for like matting photos, whatever, there is a lighter weight of it available, which is a 250 GSM. It's still fairly sturdy, and it's still the exact same quality as the 300 GSM. It's just not as heavy. So if you want to try out a different cardstock, if you're somebody that usually uses American Crafts cardstock, Zoe also has that available in the store, particularly if you're somebody that likes to cut files or whatever. So yeah, I will put the link to the Cocoa Vanilla store below, and just go to the cardstock category and you will find it there at an awesome price. Just saying. Anyway, let's get into my layout. So, started with that sheet of cardstock there. I used a sky blue Dina Wakley paint just to apply a bit of light colour to my background. I used my brayer for that because I love the fact that when you use the brayer to apply paint, that it dries super quick. It's just a really light touch sort of application of it. It gives it that sort of patchy look, and yeah, I really love it. Then I pulled in 3 of my Distress oxides. So I believe I've got Kitsch Flamingo, I've got Mustard Seed, and I've got Carved Pumpkin. So pink, yellow, and orange. And I just, swiped it on my messy mat, mixed it with a bit of water, and then just used a really loose brush just to put splatters on the background. So that was it. That was all I did for the background there. Super simple one today because I was working with some busy bright papers and I didn't want to overwhelm the page too much. So you can see there that I have layered up some pattern papers. I've got that blue stripe paper, which is actually one of the 12 by 12 papers. It's the reverse of the page that's got the big rainbow on it. I used that sort of to draw in the blue from the girls' uniforms in the photos. Now, then the other 2 pattern paper pieces you can see that I've added into my layers there was that really sweet little floral print, which has got the blue background, and that yellow with the chevron print on it. Now, both of those papers are actually from the A5 paper stack, and both of those prints are exclusive to the A5 paper stack. So if you don't have the A5 paper stack, unfortunately, you won't have these papers. Now, with my photo strip there, I actually matted it with that really cute little heart print paper just to help it sort of pop off the page. Even though I did have a white border on this series of photos, I just wanted that extra layer just to help it pop from the background. Now, with my die pieces, let's get into my little die cuts that I've got going on there. So there were a number of dies that I was working with here. If you've watched my videos before, you know that I love to put doilies on my page. And this time, rather than dipping into my stash and pulling out any of my doilies, I thought I would pull out this little doily die that I have, which is really, really sweet. And I would cut a couple of them with patterned paper. So the pattern paper I used was one of the 12x12s from the Sunkissed collection. It's got this sort of mixed media, painty sort of colorway on it, which gave me that beautiful variation in color on the doilies that I absolutely love. So you can see that I've tucked one in sort of up on that left corner, and then I've tucked one in along that right edge of my photos. Now, some of the other dies that I was working with, now that doily die, I believe, is a Poppy Crafts one. Some of the other dies that I was working with, I had that sort of large butterfly. You can see those on the desk there. I also had like a small banner, which I think the banner was like an American Crafts one from a while ago. And what other punch did I have? Oh yeah, I had that cute little butterfly banner as well, which you can see right there. Now, I didn't actually cut these die cut pieces as I went along. So what I actually did in preparation for this page, because I knew I was going to be filming and I didn't want to have to interrupt my process, was before I started filming, I went through my stash of Sunkissed and I pulled out just some paper scraps, little bits and pieces that were big enough for me to cut these little shapes out of. So I just cut these in a variety of patterned paper pieces, and I didn't know what I was going to work with. I just knew that I would make it work because, as I said, I didn't want to interrupt my process. So I just cut a heap of shapes. I cut them in all different papers. I threw them into that little bowl and I thought whatever will be, will be. You know me, I'm a wing it scrapper anyway. So whatever will be, will be. And this is how it turned out. So yeah, thankfully it all came together quite well in the end. So you can see that I used that little butterfly banner. I added that to those that strong yellow horizontal line that I had going across the page from that chevron print paper. And I also used a couple of the little banners that I'd cut just to tuck along that horizontal line as well and just sort of extend it out onto the right of my page. That also gave me the perfect place to put my title. And my title was that Feelin Fine piece, which was actually fussy cut from the cut apart sheet from this collection. And I popped that up just with a little bit of foam tape just to bring it up to, you know, a similar height to the photos, because the photos actually had some scrap cardboard underneath to help pop them up from the background. Now, the other tool that I did use for this page was my Martha Stewart butterfly punch. And this probably has to be my most well-loved punch of all time. It was a little bit stiff when I was using it, I must admit, so I probably do need to sharpen it. But yeah, I punched out some butterflies. You can see that I've got those ones. I used the offcut of that blue floral paper, and I had some of those punched out. I also had it punched out in that deep pinky red colour. And I used those ones to layer over the top of the larger die cut butterflies. So you can see that I've got one on the left side of my photo, one on the right side of my photo. There was another one in the dish. I didn't end up using it, but I did use the third red one as well on the right hand side of my layout. One of the things I did neglect to tell you was underneath my photo, I did add some frayed gauze as well, just to bring some extra texture into the page. Now, the beauty of using dies and punches and things like this and paper is, in the end, you use very little embellishments. You don't actually have to use up a lot of embellishments from your collection. So if you found that you're reaching the end of a collection and you haven't got many embellishments left, but you do have scraps of paper, this is a really great technique and a really cheap technique if you're scrapping on a budget and you can't buy a lot of embellishments. Just get those punches and dies out and cut a heap of shapes from different scraps of paper, and then do what I did. Just wing it, baby, and see if you can make them work on a page. I did add a couple of embellishments to this page. I did add 3 flowers from the Floral Ephemera pack, and I did add some phrase stickers from the accessory sticker sheet. But other than that, that was pretty much all of the embellishments that I used from the collection. The rest of it was all the I did add some of those cute little puffy hearts because I just can't resist those. But other than that, as I said, that was all I used. So this is a great sort of budget page. And that was it. I added some handwritten journaling using a felt pen, and look at how it came together. I love the colours. It's so bright and happy and fun. So make sure you get over and grab some of that cardstock if you're interested. If you like what you saw today, make sure you subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, leave me a question. I'm thankful for it all. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.